A quick look at my new car. What did I go for after getting rid of the Tesla Model 3 long range? Stay tuned to find out. Welcome back to the channel, folks. It's been a long time. But I thought I'd just do a very quick catch up. I'm not really going to go through the figures as such, but I'm just going to show you what I've now got EV wise. So almost 3 years ago, I picked up the Tesla Model 3 long range. So it was a 21. And in that time, I have covered just under 30,000 miles. The average efficiency over that 3 years was 241 watt hours per mile. Now, if you don't know what that means, that basically means I'm using 241 watt hours, if you like, per mile of distance travelled. So if we want to work out how many miles we get per a unit of electricity, which is 1 kilowatt, all we have to do is 1,000 divided by 241. So I've averaged 4.15 miles per, sorry, 4.15 miles per kilowatt hour. So if you're paying 15 pence per unit of electricity, we divide that by 15 and we're paying, that's not right, I can't do my maths, let's do that again. So 4.15 divided by, what am I trying to do? 1,000, yes, 15 pence divided by, I had a complete blank then. 15 pence divided by 4.14, yes, so about 3.62 pence per mile if you were getting your electricity for 15 pence a unit. So it's been exceptional. I cannot fault the Tesla. If anyone's thinking about a Tesla Model 3, I cannot fault it for efficiency. It's far more efficient than the car I've just picked up, which I'll talk about it shortly. You can't fault the supercharger network. Not that I've used it that often, but it is superb. Build quality, not great. It's certainly better than they used to be, and I think the new Highland is much better. But what I would say is ride quality, not great. Fit and finish, okay. In that time, I had to have 3 new boot struts because the powered boot lid kept failing. I've had to have a new rear light cluster because it was filled with condensation, and to be fair, the other one was, but I didn't bother because it was going back. And it had a new window under warranty because when the boot strut failed, it smashed the back window. But apart from that, it's been great. BCA Auctions came to pick it up via lease plan, who the car was with. They did a very thorough collection. I've never ever returned a car at the end of a lease. This is the first lease car I've had. Whenever I've had PCP, I've always traded the car in early or sold it or whatever. So this was the first experience I've had of a representative of the lease company coming to collect the car and doing an inspection, and it was absolutely fine. No end of lease charges. I touched up the wheels myself. I had a lot of curb rash around them, but for 15 quid I bought a can of Tesla Sonic Grey paint, bit of wet and dry, and resprayed them all, and it was fine. So brilliant, can't fault them. So anyway, what car have I got now? Well, I've got this bad boy, if I can remember where I've put it. Where are we? I've got this. So this is the new BMW i5 M Sport Pro 40 in fire red. I've never really had a red car. I had a very bright red Porsche Cayman once, but most cars I've ever had have been grey or black or white. So I thought I'll go for something new. Beautiful colour. I'll perhaps do a bit more of a walk around video of it. But I got a fantastic deal. Believe it or not, the list price on this car is £86,000. It was 76, but it had over £9,000 worth of options. So it had the metallic paint, it had the 21-inch individual wheels, which are about a £2,000 option. It had the M Carbon interior, which was 400 quid. It had a panoramic roof, which was 1,600, I think. It had, what else did it have? Pan roof, carbon wheel. Oh, it had the tech pack, which is things like your head-up display, and it had the comfort pack, which is things like comfort access, things that you get for standard on a Tesla. So ridiculous purchase price, and there is no way, even if I could, would I buy one. It's not worth £86,000. It's probably worth 60, maybe. Hence why there were, certainly, I don't know at the moment, but as long as you took delivery by the end of March 24, there were some ridiculous lease options. Believe it or not, the lease price on this car, fully maintained with tyres, servicing, everything, comes out at £2 a month cheaper than I was paying on the Tesla. Now, the Tesla is a £49,000 car, and this is technically an £86,000 car, and the lease price is almost identical. And that was on 2 years as well, rather than a 3-year lease. It was cheaper to go on 2 years, which is really unusual. Usually they get cheaper the longer you go, 4 years being cheaper than 3, 3 years being cheaper than 2. But in this case, it was cheaper to go 2. So yes, it's a. And what about the car? So it's really nice to get back into a car which feels much more like a car. Tesla, as I say, cannot fault it in terms of efficiency and charging. And if you're doing a lot of miles, I think Tesla's still the way to go, absolutely. But if you want to get something which is much more comfortable, much more premium. Before I had my Tesla, I was really into car detailing, machine polishing, different products. And I can feel myself getting back into that interest with this car. So it's nice having a car to look after rather than a car that just gets you from A to B, if you see what I mean. So that's the car. What I will say is it's a lot heavier. It's a single motor. It's nowhere near as quick as the Tesla. It's much more kind of sedate. You know, I tend to drive it a lot more sedately than I did the Tesla. And it's probably averaging at the moment, I've only driven it for this week, I've done about 200 miles in it, it's probably averaging about 3.2 miles per kilowatt hour versus 4.15. So it's probably about 25% less efficient than the Tesla. Anyway, that's it. I thought I'd just drop in. It's been a long time. Thank you very much for your continued support. Lots of people are buying the EV spreadsheet, the app, the salary sacrifice spreadsheet, the PCP spreadsheet. If you email me now, you'll be given links directly to a site. So I'm using a site called spring.com where you can just pay your money and download it. And the only thing I would say, and I will apologise for this, it's the only site I could find that would do it, and it's in US dollars. If you can sell all sorts of things on this site, you know, embroidery and clothing and all sorts of things. But for some reason, with a digital download, you can only list them in dollars. So I've had to roughly estimate the price. I think I'm selling it at $15. It costs about £11 now. So thank you for your continued support for that. If anyone's new to the channel, I have a few different tools. Salary sacrifice is quite big at the moment for EVs because they're such a low benefit in kind, which obviously is starting to go up. But you can get a copy of my spreadsheet if you're an employer or an employee and you're thinking of setting up a scheme or thinking of joining a scheme. It will tell you what it's going to cost you. And we've also got the PCP spreadsheet, which will enable you to calculate your own HP, PCP agreements, early settlement calculations, voluntary termination calculations, that kind of thing. So if you do want a copy of either of those, send me an email to here and you'll get details of how to obtain them. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Take care. I'll be back when I can think of something else to talk about. Bye for now.